All right, today's race, big one in the Kirchmair series, sprint race, 1 lap of Innsbruckring, 9-kilometer course, usually takes about 12 minutes to get around. One big hill in the middle, you hit the leg snapper, and obviously this one will usually go to a reduced bunch finish. A lot of heavy hitters in this group, so big strategy today is really just to try and get Diddy to conserve his legs, make it all the way to the finish. We'll do whatever we can to help that happening. Z's in this race, I'm in this race. I'm not going to be very much help because it's the second of a back-to-back, but we're all in for Diddy. We think he's got a good shot at this. He usually does well on this course, and we'll see how it goes. Going off the front. Davey's obviously a big threat. He's a really strong rider. So Diddy's going to put in a little bit of a dig to try and keep this group together. He's interested in a bunch sprint today. But if a group does get away, then obviously he wants to be a part of it. You can see Z trying to stay with him. His objective is really just to go in for Diddy, so he's going to try and help close the last of this gap. Make sure that this stays together. Obviously it stretches out a little bit, but Z makes contact. Diddy gets to just sit on the wheel. The rest of the group eventually bunches back up together. It's made it hard for the whole group, I know, because I'm sitting on the back of it barely holding on right now, but these guys came back, so now it's going to go to the base of the hill all together, and that's when the real action starts. Okay, approaching the base of the hill now. Let's talk positioning going into this. This is a stacked field and an ACAT race, so it's going to be very hard to move forward. All these guys are going to be pushing red numbers. Everybody's going to be hitting this very, very hard. So Diddy's sitting way, way, way up towards the front, which, in an easier race, I would say might be a little bit wasteful. But in this race, given that it's going to be so hard to move up and it's inevitably going to split somewhere, probably not a bad idea to start forward, stay forward. He even gives himself a little bit of room to drop backwards if he's not feeling it, and probably still maintain the front group. Huge numbers here for everybody. I mean, you see nothing but red numbers on this board. He's doing 700, 800 watts. He settles in right behind a teammate. Z's pushing huge numbers as well to get up over this hill and make sure everybody stays together. A couple guys really, really pushing it off the front, but with a group this big, there's no real threat that they're going to get away. So the idea was just to try and get over in the top 10 or 15. Make sure you're still carrying that momentum over the top. Usually you'd want to super tuck here, but he had some cadence issues in this, or RPM cadence reading issues in this race, so his guy didn't super tuck here, unfortunately. Still maintain contact with this group on the downhill. Get over this second little bump, and then obviously it should settle down a little bit as we start heading towards the sprint finish. Alright, you can see a couple guys trying to get away off the front here. Specifically one guy, and then the other one looks like he just wanted to neutralize the attack. He shot over to the wheel, made sure he wasn't going to try and get a break. No real threat here, but Diddy wanted to make sure that these guys didn't make a push, and if they did, then he wanted to make sure he was part of it. But he didn't Never go to the front, never took a pull. Knew that the rest of the group was going to come right behind him. So close to the finish, there was no real threat there, but again, just wanted to make sure. So now the idea is just to sit in, wait for the finish, watch for red numbers, and position yourself close enough to the front that you can compete for the win. Alright, so let's talk final sprint tactics here. You can see he's trying to stay in the top 10, really just watching for orange numbers. You saw one guy push it. He's going for a very, very early attack. He's got a little gap on the field, so you want to be cognizant of that. Kuman, the guy in second right now, has a huge, huge sprint. So as soon as he sees him going, he knows he's got to get on that wheel because he's definitely going to be a threat. He should be able to ride that wheel all the way up to the guy who launched early. Still has to put up huge numbers, 1,000-watt sprint here, obviously. And then as soon as that guy hits his wheel, he goes over the top, pushes as hard as he can. 1,300-watt dig. Gets a bit of a gap. You can see he's got 6-7 meters on Kuman, and that one's never coming back. So Diddy with a huge, huge victory over a very stacked field. Yeah, big congrats to him. That one was his best ever race ranking too. I'll toss the Zwift power in at the end here, but great field, great race.